Hi everyone and welcome to the last video about the deaf flutes, okay? Today we are going to watch two last functions together and I will make a kind of wrap up of all this and then we will be able to pass to a new subject in the next video, okay? So just a big recap, okay? Our deaf flute for now has the possibility to drop two chicken, 1 to 3 beef, or 2 to 5 pork chops, okay, as meat. It will also drop one mineral that could be diamond, emerald, or 2 to 6 iron ingot, okay, and all of them has different possibilities or more chance to be dropped. So for example, the chicken has more chance to be dropped than the beef and the pork chop. Okay, but the pork chop, you see, has more chance to be dropped than the beef. There's also some condition. So for example, if the animal is burning, well, the pork chop will be cooked if the animal is burning. Okay, here the possibilities of the minerals are obtained only, for example, if killed by the player. To obtain the emerald, the animal must be killed by a player or a tamed animal. And for the iron ingot, it has to be killed by a skeleton. Okay. I also showed you how to use the looting enchant. So for example, if you have a sword that has the enchant, well, it will drop two more totem. Okay. I also showed you how to use the data. So for example, the cocoa beans, because the cocoa beans, remember, are a die, but it's not any kind of die. It's the die number 3. Okay. So yeah, but today we are going to watch new functions that are usually kind of secret, okay? There's also one other that I will not show you because I prefer to keep it for what is called a fishing table, okay? So let's jump into the video and I hope it will go well. So we will create a new set, okay? Which will be called the special things, okay? So right here we will enter this, and just a reminder, you have your roles, 1, and your entries. You open your square, and you open your brace. So here the first possibility is the type, it's an item, and the name is Minecraft map. Okay, and you need to put a function. So functions, open your square, and the function is named exploration map. And you need to specify, oh wait, I'm sorry, I went too fast. It's function, double dot, exploration map, and the location, which is destination, in this case is mention. Okay, it could also be a village, shipwreck, buried treasure, and all those things. Okay, the exact names are the ones that you see when you do slash locate in your game. Okay, it's the locate command. So I really like to use this. Okay, and I use this in some of the add-ons. That's what makes, for example, the sea bottle. If you played with Seas and Oceans, the sea bottle, well, it drops a map that leads to a shipwreck. Well, it's because of this. Okay. Now you also need to specify your next entries. And thinking about this, I forgot to put the weight. And the weight will be, we said 3. Okay. Here we want to have 1 to 4 spawn egg. Okay, of skeleton. and a possibility of 10, which means that we have our type. It's an item, once again, the name, and this time the name is Minecraft spawn eggs, like this, okay? Just to tell you, if it's a spawn egg that already exists, you could simply use the set data, okay? So for example, skeleton, you see you could have, for example, the horse spawn egg, the skeleton horse spawn egg would be spawn egg, and the data would be 26, okay? But the functions that I'm showing you today is a function that you can use with any kind of spawn egg, even the one that you create. So for example, you create an animal, and I will take an example with, let's say the beluga, okay? If you had the, the beluga from seas and oceans, you would have to use this function, okay? You could not use the data. So, spawn egg, and we need our functions. Wait, okay. So weight, it's 10, like this. The functions. This time the function is set actor ID. And then you need to specify the ID. The ID must be the Minecraft identifier that you have in your files. So for this, it's Minecraft _skeleton, okay? Like this. And yeah, now it's not the only function, remember, because we want 1 to 4. So I will put another function. And this time the function is set count. And the count is a minimum of 1 and a max of 4. Okay? So this is how you write it. But then, just to make a reminder, if you want, for example, to obtain it obtainable only if killed by, let's say, a creeper, okay? So if the animal is killed by a creeper, it will have this possibility. If it's not, well, it will not work, okay? So how can we put this? Well, I'm sorry. So this is this one, and now we need to specify the condition. So we put our comma and condition is killed by entity. And we have to specify the entity, which is entity type Minecraft creeper. Just like this. So you see, this is your condition. So it will be only possible if it was killed by a creeper. Otherwise, it will not happen. Okay? So I think that's what conclude our our part on the deaf flute. Really hope it was clear and that you now understand well. Um, I will do just a little summary, okay, so you can understand. Uh, yeah, and as I said, if you missed any part, go in the description, open the link, it will lead you to the playlist, and you can choose the video that you need to watch, okay? For every video, there is the title, so you can know um, better what is in the video, okay? So, the death flute is a group of items that the animal drops when it dies, okay? Um, it lets you determine some group of possibilities. So you see, you can have the meat, the minerals, a treasure, or any other kind, okay? And it doesn't have to be by subject like this, okay? You could put all of these together, and the way I made it is just to help you understand, okay? To make it more clear. And yeah, there's also, each time you need to specify the type, which is an item, the name of the item, and if there is many possibilities, like here, you need to specify how uh, how much chance it has to drop this instead of the other. Okay. Every time the animal drop the first block, then the second block, the third, the fourth, and etc. etc. Okay. But for each block, it only choose one of them. And the choice it makes is based on the popularity of this item, but also on the conditions. You see? Conditions. There is also what is called functions. There's a few functions, and I think we explored all of them. You see, there was the function set count that lets you determine how many of this item you will obtain. There was also the set data that lets you decide what data. So, for example, the cocoa bean, or wait, cocoa bean, red dye, green dye, lapis lazuli, and etc. etc. Okay. There was also the looting enchant that lets you determine how many of this item you will obtain more if you kill the animal using the looting enchant on your sword, for example. There's also the furnace smelt that lets you cook the element or the item if the animal is on fire. And I think that was all. There's also the function exploration map that can only work on Minecraft map, okay, and it lets you decide the destination. There's also the set actor ID that lets you decide what type of spawn egg will be dropped by this, okay? Just a little specification. For this to be available, the animal must be spawnable, okay? Which means that it must have a spawn egg. If it doesn't have, well, it will not work correctly, okay? But this is something I will show you in another video, okay? So, yeah, and conditions. You have different conditions such as killed by entity, killed by player or pet, so a tamed animal. And yeah. So, I really hope it was useful and that it was clear. If there is anything, any problem, please tell me in the comment or send me a Gmail. So the link will be in the description. It can also be on Discord. And yeah, in the next video, I will probably start to show you the behaviors, okay, which is a very important part. And it will also be a great opportunity to learn how to state this loot table to be the loot table that our shark, for example, will drop when it dies, okay? So I see you in the next video and take care.